First Blood.
The past, the present, and the future. What's the difference, and where does anxiety and worry fit into that? Hello everyone, welcome to Frog Machinery. It's been a while since I've done anything with this channel. For my older viewers, nice to see you still subscribed. For newer people, welcome. This is a channel where I basically express my thoughts on the struggles of being a human, apply them practically in the world so we can all live better lives, and all of this while I upload gameplay from games I like with a small review of the game at the end of the video. I'd say it's pretty fun, philosophical nonsense. You're welcome to stay a while and listen, or to go do something else. Either way, hope you're all having a good one. Today's topic is about anxiety and worry. Pretty big things for a lot of people. First, we have to define it, understand what causes it, then apply solutions to it practically. The most important part. I don't like yammering on about things and only thinking things through. Thinking doesn't really get anything done, unless you actually apply it to the world. You can sit down and think through a problem with hundreds of scenarios in your head for an entire week, but still end up sitting on your couch watching repeats of some shitty TV show worrying about how you're gonna find a new job. Funnily enough, what I just described is anxiety and worry. If we're going to define it, we can define it simply as rumination and concern over future outcomes. I'd say that's a solid definition. You worry about things ahead of you and how they'll affect your life. That creates the sensation of anxiety. Sure, you could worry about past actions too, but I'd take a gander that you worry about those because they might affect your future. I said something to my boss and I hope that doesn't affect my salary. That's worry. It takes the past action and transfers its potential consequence into the future. But if it's more like, I wish X never happened to me, the framing of that as being stuck in the past. That's more depression and regret, which we'll get to one day, but not today. Anyway, anxiety feels pretty shitty overall, especially when it gets out of hand. There is a use case to it though, and that's largely because everything our brain does is for its own survival. Risk assessment before committing to something, like dive bombing into some random river in the jungle, is precisely why your brain has that mechanism. It doesn't want to get pancaked on a shallow rock bed. This is useful. Without it, you'd be dead pretty fast. You have to frame how your brain works as a survival maximalist machine. It does what it does because it doesn't want to die, and it does it the way it does it because it's the only way it has learned how. Your past experiences dictate your skill set, so you have to understand that the way you function now is the best you can do right now. Think of it as hardware and software. The hardware is for survival. The software is the experiences of your life that dictate how the hardware can be used. Problem is, software can cause performance issues, and in the real world, those performance issues can create stuttering, freezing, and total system crashes. So high stress, panicking, and full-blown breakdowns if we put that into practical terms. So I've defined anxiety and hypothesized how it works and why it works the way it works, but also explained the issue. Too much of it causes you to malfunction. How do you optimize it so it benefits you? A lot of standard advice is to learn to breathe deeply and calmly, which, yeah, useful in a pinch. More oxygen is good for your brain. But I want to get a bit more philosophical and practical. People with a lot of anxiety tend to be pretty smart and analytical. Sharp, if you will. They think fast, they learn to make goals for the future, they come up with tons of solutions, but the big issue that a lot of people fall into is they forget to be here. And by here, I mean being action-oriented right now, the present. You can make goals for the future, but what are your goals right now, for the day you're in? What's your action plan? The practical and effective is what I go with when it comes to dealing with anxiety. And that is very simply setting up a list of things to do in the immediate time frame. Plan a routine, make tasks that are actionable and allow you to focus in. Let's say, for example, you worry about the next weekend because you have some important event to go to. You ruminate and build scenarios in your head, thinking about how you'll speak to X, hit on Y, and present your speech to Z. You calculate, hear voices in your head, practice speeches in your head, see your own facial expressions, receive negative responses from people, and then deny their reasoning, rationalize your point, defend yourself, and then make a new scenario that goes a different way. Absolutely none of this is going to come true. Guaranteed. It's all unreal and fake, and speaking of unreal, that's the game that's being played while I speak, specifically Unreal Tournament 99. You're wasting energy on things that don't exist, scenarios and false experiences that lead to no concrete outcomes. It actually takes a lot of calories, kills your focus, and probably sucks away your sleep, which consequently ruins your ability to behave effectively in the present and the future. Seriously, get good sleep. So instead of doing this, catch yourself doing it and write down what you're doing today. You can be as general as you like, but I reckon being detailed is good and make it actionable. Number 1, make breakfast, take a dump, shave, shower. Number 2, clean up the dishes. Number 3, clean up the house, focus on sorting out the bookshelves. Number 4, get to the gym and do X workout. Number 5, grab some lunch from Y. And so on. This is practical, grounded, and beneficial for you anyway. You're placing your mental point of origin from an I statement too. What am I going to do today? Furthermore, it's active training for your brain. You're focusing it in like a laser and keeping it in the present. Starting might be a bit hard, but once you get focused, you start to feel good, and joy only really comes from the present, not from the past or the future. You are always here right now, never behind or ahead. Feeling good then compounds. I should do this more, I'll organize tomorrow too. And for the really lazy or hard-hit people, you start inch by inch rather than mile by mile. First goal is maybe just cleaning some dishes or something. Small, deliberate steps. Sometimes you also have to get angry with yourself to motivate you too. There are times for compassion, but sometimes you just have to be pissed off. Nothing too much though. If you fail here and there, that's fine. Start again and you'll probably get a little further. Your muscles get stronger through tearing and rebuilding them with strenuous exercise. What makes the mind any different? The point is not to kill anxiety. It's to frame and train your brain to use it appropriately. Sitting around thinking about what could be is a pathway that will inevitably lead you down to what could have been. You do not want that. An unlived dream will eventually become a torturous nightmare. You've only got so much time. Get focused on the now. Make goals for the future, sure, but the steps toward that are in the present. Get to it. Speaking of getting to it,
I just slaughtered that guy. Burn, baby.
I can be excited and not so monochromatic, because boy do I love Unreal Tournament. A childhood game of mine and one of the first games I played that actually blew my mind. The lens flare effects, the textures, sound effects, and high-speed chaos combined with exploding body parts permanently shifted my then childlike brain from pure Nintendo World innocence to violent, blood-soaked madness. I realized I kind of enjoy the latter quite a bit. UT is basically considered one of the absolute best FPS games ever made, and it directly competed with id Software's Quake 3. Another amazing game. There is good reason that UT is so widely praised though. Gameplay is simple to learn, but hard to master, and very tightly designed. Movement is precise, there's a great amount of weapon variety with multiple use cases depending on the situation, bots are actually fun and engaging to play against, the map design is overall excellent with interesting locations, and the game modes are a dime a dozen. You can play pure deathmatch if you're up for a quick game, or move to something like Capture the Flag, which still feels awesome to play, especially on UT's most famous map, Facing Worlds. I grew up playing UT and got quite good at it over time, especially with UT 2004, a game I'll show at a later date. The one thing that's really good about arena shooters like UT and Quake is they teach you certain skills that translate universally across all games, like game sense, timing, prediction, and map control. To get really good at these games, you need to learn to time the spawning of pickups like armor. By knowing the timing, you can create a flow state when moving through the map that allows you to consistently control pickups in the game, which puts opponents at a disadvantage. Massive ones at that. In a 1v1 in UT, A single hit from a shock rifle primary beam does 60 damage. We're speaking hardcore mode, by the way. You start with 100 HP, so 2 shots and you're done. Armor mitigates this and lets you take an extra hit or two, so it gives you offensive advantage and puts unarmored people at a big disadvantage. Map control is really fucking important. It separates beginners from the absolute monsters online. There's also learning to control situations with weaponry and audio. When you learn the sound cues for certain pickups and know the map, suddenly you know exactly where your opponent is. That gives you the ability to hunt them down or avoid them if necessary. Weapons let you control areas of the map through denial. Chuck a couple of bio-rifle globs down a narrow hallway to prevent access to an area, or shoot some ripper discs around a corner to fish out some enemies. It's stuff like this that separates arena shooters from other games for me. I grew up playing these, and I just don't find other shooters as exciting or interesting. The excess violence, purity of gameplay, fast-paced mind games, and satisfaction of getting into a flow state, it's like nothing else. Playing UT is like combating anxiety. You don't think about what's coming in the next few maps. You focus in, get your armor right now, and gib your opponents with a shock combo. Focus on the now and kill everything. Highly recommended. Epic, in their infinite wisdom, decided to delist the entire Unreal franchise from all stores. However, thanks to a passionate community, and with the blessing of Epic themselves, funnily enough, you can download the original Unreal and Unreal Tournament for free. Link in the description. Go play it, it is great. And now for a small frag compilation of bot killing. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Peace. Oh.